Up next, a drug bust in Somerton. We'll tell you what the Yuma County Narcotics Task Force discovered in their investigation that has landed this man in jail tonight. Coming up on 13 on Your Side, also an arrest in a triple homicide case out of California. We'll tell you who the suspect is and what lies ahead in this gruesome case. Plus, tonight for the first time, we're hearing from one of the survivors of the terror attack in Brussels. 13 on Your Side, live at 10 starts right now.
Live from across the desert Southwest with your latest local coverage. This is 13 on Your Side, live at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nylander. A man has died tonight after making an unsafe turn and crashing into a sand mound. It happened around 7 p.m. yesterday at the Imperial County Sand Dunes in an area commonly known as Dune Buggy Flats or Sand Highway. According to a newly released report, the man made an unsafe turn, causing his sand rail to overturn and then collide with a large sand mound. He died on impact. Whether alcohol or drugs played a factor in this incident is still under investigation. A man is in jail tonight after the Yuma County Sheriff's Office discovered drugs and stolen items in his home Thursday afternoon. The Yuma County Narcotics Task Force served a search warrant in the area off of South Somerton Avenue. Authorities found 3 grams of cocaine, drug paraphernalia, weapons, and electronic devices that were reportedly stolen. 26-year-old Jose Catalenos is charged with the possession of stolen property, drug possession, and possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, among other charges. YCSO encourages anyone that may have any information to call 928-783-4427 or 78-CRIME to remain anonymous. The Yuma Police Department needs your help fighting fugitives on the run. Information you give could earn you a reward. Here's this week's list of Yuma's most wanted.
Since we brought you Yuma's Most Wanted last week, there have been some breaking developments. David Bernal Jr., who was convicted of attempted possession of dangerous drugs and criminal trespassing, has been taken back into custody by the Yuma Police Department on Thursday. But this week, we find ourselves with a new list of fugitives wanted for violating their probation. Be on the lookout for Marisa Andrea Munoz. She was convicted of theft. She's a 32-year-old Hispanic woman, 5'3" and 160 pounds. She has brown hair and hazel eyes. The following fugitive was convicted of unlawful use of a means of transportation. Alejandro Jose Arijo is a 30-year-old Hispanic man, 5'7" and weighs 175 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. He may go by an alias. He's known to use the names Alex Rugio, Alex Fimbres, or Rugio Fimbres. He has a skull tattoo on his right forearm and a cross tattooed onto his left shoulder. James Joseph Robles was convicted of aggravated assault. He's a 35-year-old Native American and stands at 5'11", 400 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. He has 3 dots tattooed onto his left hand with the words Gwen written across his neck. The final fugitive is Jaime Joseph Tlapa. He's a 32-year-old Hispanic man convicted of tampering with a witness. He's 5'11" and 150 pounds. He may also go by an alias JJ. He has the words HFR and Maritza tattooed onto his neck. If you have any information about these fugitives, immediately contact the Yuma Police Department or 78-CRIME. You are not advised to confront them on your own. Information that leads to an arrest could earn you a $1,000 reward.
You can watch Yuma's Most Wanted every Friday at 10 p.m. on 13 on Your Side. A suspect is in custody in the deaths of a Southern California doctor, his wife, and their 5-year-old daughter. The bodies of the doctor, Henry Han, and his family were found in their Santa Barbara home Wednesday afternoon. All 3 died from gunshot wounds. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff says a suspect was arrested this morning.
The suspect was spotted driving a vehicle that detectives had previously matched him to. He was followed to a gas station in Bonsall, an unincorporated area in San Diego County near Oceanside, and he was taken into custody at gunpoint without incident.
The suspect is identified as 27-year-old Pierre Habash of Oceanside, California. The sheriff called this case, quote, complex, diabolical, and premeditated. Authorities say Habash was a business associate of Dr. Han and that the motive behind the killings was financial. Habash is charged with 3 counts of murder. San Francisco police released surveillance video showing the brutal murder of a tourist last month. Investigators hope it will help find and capture the two suspects. They're still at large tonight. One man and one woman suspect attacked a couple in mid-February. One of the suspects stabbed the tourist who's from the UK. Police say the thieves got away with his bag containing cash, a cell phone, and the victim's passport. The 44-year-old man later died of his injuries. Naval Medical Center in San Diego was on lockdown for 6 hours yesterday after a report was received about a man with a gun. Hospital operations were suspended and employees were ordered to shelter in place. Military police searched 3 buildings on campus, but they didn't find anyone.
Whether it's a bomb hoax at Naval Base San Diego or the shipyard or whatever the threat is, we take very seriously.
Navy officials did find some unused bullets on the hospital grounds, but don't know if they were connected to a gunman at this time.
Live from across the desert Southwest, this is 13 on Your Side.
Our Chief Meteorologist, Nick Maruziak's off tonight, so have your first look at weather. We've seen clear skies throughout the day in our area. Temperatures right now 68 Yuma, 74 in YPG, and just a little bit warmer as we go to the Imperial Valley. 76 El Centro, 70 in Imperial, 77 Salton City, and 76 in Blythe, 71 Quartzsite. If you're going down to Mexico, it's going to be a little bit cooler, 66 in Mexicali. Day planner for tomorrow, 7 a.m., 61 degrees. It's going to warm up quite a bit going into your lunchtime, 82 degrees by noon. And it's not going to warm up much more as you head into the evening hours at 4 p.m. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a little bit right here on 13 on Your Side. Belgian police made several arrests today in the hunt for terrorists responsible for this week's deadly bombings in Brussels. 2 unidentified Americans are among the fatalities, along with Dutch siblings who lived in New York. For the first time, we're hearing from one of the injured, and it's not his first brush with terror. CBS's Vladimir Gutierrez reports tonight.
The blast was very loud. I think it actually picked my body off the ground for a quick second, and the whole right side of my body got really hot and then really cold really quickly.
Bandaged and badly burned, 19-year-old Mormon missionary Mason Wells was just 30 feet away from the first bomb when it tore through the airport. He was there with 2 fellow missionaries, dropping a friend off who was headed to the States.
When the blast went off, I actually saw fire in front of my face on the ground. And the 4 of us were actually kind of surrounded by fire for a quick moment.
After 3 agonizing days, Mason's parents, Chad and Kimberly, flew from Sandy, Utah to join Mason in Belgium this morning.
Just the reunion with him was indescribable.
We're so proud of Mason. He's got a lot of faith and he's very positive. He keeps reassuring us that he's going to be okay.
For every injured person, there was a hero, helping them to safety. Alphonse Eula is a baggage handler at the airport. Were it not for him, people like basketball player Sebastien Belin would not have survived.
But I can remember a guy just dragging me to behind a column.
He was screaming.
Alphonse told us when Belin saw his legs like this, he couldn't talk.
He told us that somebody, and he didn't know who, put a tourniquet on his leg and pulled him away. It's you who pulled him.
Alphonse helped 12 people that day, but it is the images of those that he couldn't save that will haunt him. They did not deserve this, he said. They are innocent. They did not deserve to die. Mason's parents hope to bring him back home to Utah within the next 48 hours to continue his recovery. He keeps having to reassure his parents that he's okay. Vladimir Gutiérrez, CBS News, Brussels, Belgium.
The U.S. military's top general said it's likely more American troops will soon be headed to Iraq. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Joseph Dunford, made that announcement today. He said both him and the Defense Secretary Ash Carter believe the U.S. will step up its military presence in Iraq in the coming weeks. But Dunford also said a final decision hasn't been made yet. The U.S. currently has between 4,500 and 5,000 troops in Iraq, according to the U.S. defense officials. Most analysts believe the extra U.S. forces will help in the upcoming Iraqi offensive on Mosul, Iraq's second largest city, which is currently under the control of ISIS forces. And new developments tonight in the fight against ISIS. Military officials are saying that the second in command of the Islamic State has been killed by U.S. Special Forces. CBS's David Martin breaks down what we know so far tonight.
American commandos set out to capture Haji Imam and milk him for his insider's knowledge of ISIS. But at the last minute, they decided to open fire on his vehicle instead. Defense Secretary Carter said he believes the man who served as finance minister for ISIS was killed.
Now we've taken out the leader who oversees all the funding for ISIL's operations, hurting their ability to pay fighters and hire recruits.
The previous finance minister, Abu Sayyaf, was killed in a commando raid last year. And earlier this month, a U.S. airstrike killed a man known as Omar the Chechen, who was considered to be the ISIS minister for war.
We are systematically eliminating ISIL's cabinet.
Carter and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Joseph Dunford said momentum in the campaign against ISIS in Iraq and Syria is now on the U.S. side.
I think there's a lot of reasons for us to be optimistic about the next several months, but by no means would I say that we're about to break the back of ISIL or that the fight is over.
Dunford warned more U.S. troops will be needed.
The Secretary and I both believe that there will be an increase to the U.S. forces in Iraq in the coming weeks.
Commanders have asked for several hundred more trainers to accelerate the buildup of Iraqi forces, as well as a dozen or more Apache helicopter gunships to fly missions in support of Iraqi troops attempting to retake the key city of Mosul. It's a race against time. The longer it takes to defeat ISIS in Iraq and Syria, the more terrorist attacks there are likely to be in Europe and the U.S. David Martin, CBS News, The Pentagon.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you what organization just received a grant to try and get more students in school. 13 on your side. We'll be back in just a moment.
Live from across the desert Southwest, this is 13 on your side.
Welcome back. An update tonight on the inspiring story of a local college student who will be heading to Oxford University for a summer program very soon. Well, the Arizona Western College Foundation is granting the young woman with an additional $3,000 scholarship. Cindy Arriaga was recently admitted into a program at Oxford and also received the Benjamin Gilman International Scholarship for $4,500. Arriaga needed extra funding to make her upcoming trip successful alongside paying the tuition. So the AWC Foundation stepped in to give her an extra hand.
I still needed to get some money in order to pay for the full tuition and everything. So I asked AWC Foundation if they could help me.
Arriaga is originally from San Luis, Arizona, and is hopeful in inspiring other students to take full advantage of the resources available in higher education. Chicanos por la Casa received a grant from the state of Arizona tonight this year to help raise the number of students in the classrooms. Currently, the program offers agricultural workers free services. They can take their children 6 months to 5 years old where they could be looked after. The services they offer are free. Children get free transportation, 3 meals a day, and babies even get free diapers and formula. Children are also taught about nutrition and manners in the classroom.
Chicanos por la Causa for me is a very complete program. It gives children the help and attention they need and helps us as providers grow professionally.
For more information on these services, you can visit their office on Main Street in Somerton. Registration begins in June. Starbucks announced earlier this week they will be donating 100% of its leftover food to Feeding America food banks, and that includes the Yuma Community Food Bank. 13 on your side, reporter Madeline Hunt brings us the details tonight about how this new program will help fight hunger in our community.
Paninis and salads.
Those are just some of the items local Starbucks locations will be donating to the Yuma Community Food Bank starting this spring.
Things that they're unable to sell, and it's still good.
This comes after the coffee company announced a new 5-year partnership with Feeding America earlier this week. Under Starbucks' new food share program, 100% of all leftover food will be donated to participating Feeding America food banks, and that includes the Yuma Community Food Bank.
Starbucks is already a huge partner with Feeding America food banks, but now they're taking it to the next level.
Once the program launches, the Yuma Food Bank will pick up donations from local Starbucks locations every day.
It's going to bring more consistent food pickup in here.
The company says that it's gone through extensive food safety research, and one of their tests actually included driving through Arizona in the middle of summer to ensure that the food stays fresh.
The Food Share program will serve approximately 40 million meals over the next 5 years to people nationwide facing hunger. And with 1 in 4 people suffering from hunger in Yuma County, Ivers says our need is huge, especially this time of year.
Winter visitors leave, they're about gone. The ag community is about gone, goes to Salinas, and the kids are about to go to school. So the need increases.
A need Ivers hopes will inspire other corporations to join in the fight against hunger. Reporting in Yuma for 13 on Your Side, I'm Madeline Hunt.
Ivers says they are hoping the program will launch on May 1st. And this brings us to our topic of the day. We asked you your thoughts about this and Starbucks giving away 100% of their unused food. And, well, Joe told us, quote, great idea. More food places hopefully will do the same thing, end quote. You can always weigh in on our topic of the day either on Facebook, Twitter, or our website, kswt.com. Up next, new warnings about the Zika virus and how you should try and prevent catching it. And is it getting closer to home? We'll tell you about a new case that popped up in the U.S. 13 on Your Side. We'll be right back. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention just issued new guidelines regarding the Zika virus. Now the CDC says women who have Zika or have symptoms of the virus should wait at least 8 weeks after symptoms first appear to try and get pregnant. As for men, they are asked to wait 6 months before having unprotected sex. The CDC says the guidelines were changed as they were originally focused on women who were already pregnant. The agency is also looking to improve birth control access in areas where Zika is being transmitted. Zika has been linked to a birth defect that causes babies to be born with abnormally small heads. The first case of the Zika virus being sexually transmitted has been seen in San Diego now, and officials say it's the first sexually transmitted case of the virus in all of California. The unidentified woman was infected with Zika in February after having sex with a man who had just returned from traveling to Colombia, according to the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency. Officials say she was not pregnant and has recovered from the virus. They say her partner is also doing well.
Live from across the desert Southwest, this is 13 on Your Side.
Our Chief Meteorologist, Nick Maruziak's off tonight, so I have your full forecast. Let's take a look coast to coast across our country tonight. 48 in Seattle, Washington, 36 in Boise, 28 in Casper, 32 in Billings. Going into San Francisco's 55 degrees. Closer to our area over in Tucson, we're looking at 63 degrees tonight. Jumping to the East Coast, 43 Boston, 35 in Pittsburgh, and 47 in our nation's capital tonight, 68 down in Orlando, Florida. Radar and satellite for our area right now, we've seen clear skies throughout the day. It was a beautiful day, in my opinion. And the temperatures that you can expect right now, 68 Yuma, 73 YPG. In the Imperial Valley, 70 Imperial, 76 El Centro, and 77 Salton City. Down in Mexico, Mexicali, 66 degrees. And going up to Blythe, expect 76 degrees and 70 in Quartzsite. Winds right now have been fairly calm across the region. And the low temperatures overnight, 59 Yuma, 54 Welton, 55 YPG, 58 in Imperial and El Centro, and 64 Salton City. And you're looking at 54 in Quartzsite, 59 in Blythe. Day planner for tomorrow, 7 a.m., 61 degrees, but that won't last long. It's going to warm up by your lunchtime at 82 degrees. Not much more as you go into 4 p.m. at 87 degrees. High temperatures tomorrow, it will be pretty warm. 89 degrees, Yuma, 88 Welton and YPG. Going in the Imperial Valley, 89 Imperial, 88 El Centro, and 90 in Salton City, and 85 Quartzsite, 86 Blythe. For your week ahead in Yuma, you're going to start your weekend off clear, sunny skies, a warm 89 degrees, but look overnight, it will get slightly cool, 58 degrees, going into 88 to end your weekend, and you'll start your work week off at 88 degrees. It's going to cool down once we go into Tuesday at 74 degrees. It's going to stay to the mid to high 70s throughout the week, but it's going to get back up to the 80s by Friday. Very similar story in the Imperial Valley, 89 degrees to start off your weekend, clear skies. You'll start the work week off at 88 degrees, but then look, Tuesday, the clouds start coming in. It's going to be a little bit cooler, 74 degrees, 75 Wednesday, and as we reach a week from today, It will be back into the low 80s. Coming up, we'll tell you why several women in the Imperial Valley are being recognized tonight. 13 on your side. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Live from across the desert Southwest, this is 13 on your side.
Welcome back. 8 women in Imperial County received recognition awards this week from state officials. Yulia Alonso Garza, founder of the MAG Coalition, was one of the women who officials said went beyond their roles to help their communities. Her work has made most county cities declare January 6th Anti-Gang Awareness Day. The loss of her son, Martin Alonso Garza, to an alleged act of gang violence inspired her to reach out to youth through a foundation.
We don't realize that we have a gang problem here in the Imperial County because we are focused in on our own families, and it's time for many to step out of their homes and step out and help others.
MAG will be holding its 3rd annual Sneaker Ball this coming Saturday, April 9th in El Centro. Proceeds go to promote anti-gang awareness activities. Easter's right around the corner, and many people are getting ready for the Easter festivities, including American Legion Post 19. The Easter party will be taking place tomorrow at 10 a.m. until noon at the American Legion Post 19. There will be mini games, activities, train rides, and an Easter egg hunt with a special surprise inside for each age group. This is a free event that's open to the public, and the Legion encourages everyone to come out and get in on all of the fun, not just those who are military families.
Know that it is a community event, not for American Legion members only or for military children, but the community. We encourage anybody that's been there to come back. New children in the area that have never been to our party, please come out because it's a lot of fun.
There are several churches you can attend this weekend for Mass or service. Immaculate Conception will have Mass on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. along with Sunday Masses in English and Spanish all throughout the day, starting from 7 a.m. up until 7 p.m. Writer, actor, and comedian Gary Shandling has died. Shandling was a star on the stand-up comedy scene and a mentor to many of today's late-night hosts. The Emmy winner revolutionized the American sitcom with 2 groundbreaking shows in the 80s and 90s. He was pronounced dead Thursday in Santa Monica, California. CBS's Charlie Rose takes a look back at his legacy tonight.
Gary Shandling changed comedy and inspired a generation of comedians. His big break was in 1986 with It's Gary Shandling Show.
You want to practice square dancing? I thought you might.
Notable for what's known as breaking the fourth wall, addressing the audience directly.
Would you welcome Gary Shandling?
But years earlier, Shandling hit the holy grail of stand-up, the Tonight Show stage.
My sheepdog kicks when he sleeps, okay? Now, my friend said that means your dog's having a nightmare. Now, what's a nightmare for a dog? Did you ever stop to think about it? What, he's drinking out of the toilet and the lid falls?
Johnny Carson tapped him to fill in as host on the late-night program.
Hi, Dave Letterman.
The Larry Sanders Show ran to critical acclaim on HBO for 6 seasons.
What about the time I chipped my tooth on the bathroom urinal? Huh? What the is so comical about that?
It was a back tooth, Hank. I don't know how you did it.
Co-star Jeffrey Tambor said, Shandling redesigned the wheel of comedy. The Chicago native was on my PBS program in 1998 and 2000.
I think talent is purely becoming one with who you are and being honest in that moment. People try and, sometimes try to figure out who's talented and who isn't and what they do. It's like an athlete. You either have it or you don't.
Comedy writer and producer Judd Apatow mourned his mentor. I just don't know how to sum up someone I love so much who taught me everything I know.
I love you.
Love you too.
Alongside Jerry Seinfeld in his January episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Shandling showcased his trademark dark humor.
What I want at my funeral is an actual boxing referee to do a count, and at 5, just wave it off and say he's not getting up.
Gary Shandling was 66.
May he rest in peace. And don't go away. Coming up on 13 on Your Side, chances are this baby has more of a perfect set of hair than you do. When we come back, we'll share this adorable story with you. Don't go away. This baby girl from San Francisco could make Donald Trump jealous. 2.5-month-old Izzy, as you can see, has a full head of perfect hair. Her mom says she doesn't put any product in it. Her dad says she just wakes up like this. So you could say Izzy's follically gifted. I'm a little bit jealous. Thanks so much for watching 13 on Your Side this evening. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead of you. Thanks for joining us.